If you want to make progress as a musician, then you need to focus on the most important practice topics. But most musicians fail to do this, and it's not because of a lack of knowledge. There are a whole load of mindset traps out there that tempt us away from the right path. In this video, I'll tell you what they are and how you can avoid them. And this means that you'll get much more progress from all the effort that you put into your music practice. Hi, I'm Morley-Fletcher from Play in the Zone, and I bring you regular tips on how to improve much faster as a musician while having more fun and enjoying your music more. While you're watching, make sure to like, share and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. Here are some of the most common reasons why you might not be choosing to practice the most important things. Now, knowing what they are isn't going to stop them coming up in the future, but hopefully it will help you recognize them when they do come up, and then you can take action to avoid being seduced by their temptations. Now, the first one I see is ego, thinking, oh, I'm too good for this. I should be doing more advanced stuff. Or maybe it's even, I should have been able to learn this quickly, so I must have learned it quickly and I'll move on. And I think we'll see this with a lot of the other ones as well, but what this all comes down to is really we move on from things too quickly. There's a huge amount of power in getting the fundamentals really solid, really right, staying with them long enough so that they're just second nature to us, and everything else that we build on top of that foundation is incredibly solid. But if we move on too quickly and the foundation is shaky, then a whole load of stuff doesn't really work when we build it later. And it's easy to think, oh, well, I just haven't done that right, when actually a lot of it is down to the foundations we're built on. So ego, a big problem here, because we see all the people out there doing what looks like advanced stuff and think, oh, I want to be doing that. So maybe it's, oh, I feel like I'm good enough. I feel like I'm an advanced enough musician. Therefore, I don't need to do the basic stuff. Maybe it is, I see other people who've been playing for as long as I have and they're doing more advanced stuff. Therefore, if I don't want to feel like I'm a failure as a musician, if I don't want to feel like I'm inadequate, I can't work on the basics. That's going to bruise my ego. Therefore, I need to move on. So that's the first big trap there. Don't let your ego get the better of you. If the basics are what you need to work on, and they often are, I am always amazed, well, no longer amazed, but for a long time I was amazed when I would see just how much time the really great musicians I met spent focusing on the basics. So don't let your ego stop you from doing that. You can do that as well. And the second big trap, if you like, that can stop us from practicing the right things is boredom. So again, it comes down to this. We don't want to move on too quickly, but it's really easy to practice something for a while and move on because we get bored. And maybe we know that we should stay with it for longer, but we're just finding it hard to do that. So noticing it is a good thing if you're getting bored, but then how do you deal with that? It's got to be about getting creative. Can I find ways to make this more interesting? And that might be creating slightly different exercises that present a challenge. If you're doing something really basic and it becomes easy, that's one of the things that can trigger boredom. So find ways to layer other things in to make it more of a challenge. If it's just playing a specific set of notes, put some rhythms in there, put some expression in there, something else, something so that you're not just going through the motions because you can do it all and you're just thinking, I've got to get through these endless repetitions until I've mastered it. Yes, you do need the repetitions, but throw something else in there to make it interesting. So like I said, it could be making it a bit more challenging in other ways, adding in some rhythm or some dynamics, or it could be just seeing if you can notice the beauty in something. For me, it often comes down to, if I'm getting bored with something, it means I've stopped actually noticing it. I've stopped looking at it and I'm just seeing it as something to do and my brain is disconnected. Can I engage that again? Can I find the music in the exercise? Can I see the beauty there and appreciate it as if I'm seeing it for the first time? And the third big mindset trap I see around getting us to not to practice the right things, to practice the wrong things, whichever way you want to look at it, is fear of missing out. I'm going to call it FOMO. And it often comes because there is so much that we want to do. For all of us, for me certainly, the list of things that I want to get better at, that I want to practice, that I want to learn is so long that I'm never going to get through it all in my lifetime. It's just not going to happen. And you see that in a lot of the great musicians, fantastic stories of, the great jazz musicians in their 70s and 80s still practicing just as hard as ever. And, some of them give that comment, oh, I finally feel like I'm starting to get vaguely good. So this is normal. And the thing to do is to accept that we're not going to be able to do everything, because the big danger here is you think, I haven't got time to stick with the things that matter because there are far too many things that I want to do. And so you try and cram it all in and you spend too little time on each one. So two things here. One is it may drag you away from the most important things to do, but the other is whatever you're working on, they could all be really important things, but you'll get much more out of going really deep in one or two areas than doing 100 different things at the surface level and none of it really sticks. You don't really have mastery of any of it. So this fear of missing out is basically telling us there's not enough time. You've got to finish this now and move on and do something else, and then move on and do something else and something else and something else. And that is a trap. So the way around it is, first of all, be aware when you see that happening. Just take a step back, breathe, calm down, don't feel so stressed to get through everything, and to accept, hard though it is, that you're not going to be able to do everything. So pick a few things, do them well. And not only does that give you much better results when you go deep in a few areas than shallow in a lot, but again, it's kind of this foundation. So the more solid the first few things you've done are, the quicker the other things will come later. So you're still not going to get through everything. Don't think this is a magic way to get around that, but there are some benefits from this as well. And the fourth mindset trap that I'm going to mention is what I would call shiny object syndrome. There's always something out there that looks exciting, that looks new, or maybe it looks like this is the magic answer. And there is no getting around it that a lot of the progress for music comes with sticking with these things, going through basic, not always that exciting things and gradually getting better at them. And over time, this is going to lead to huge progress. But it's always tempting to look over there at something new and think, wow, if I could just do that, that would take me to the next level. Maybe that is the thing I need to do. So two things here. One is the natural shiny object thing. We see something new, it is more exciting than the stuff we're familiar with. Really normal. The other thing is what I'm going to call a kind of a one-size-fits-all thing. You'll get people telling you, oh, this is the most important thing to do. This is what made the difference for me. And for them, that is almost certainly absolutely true. They are suggesting something that really turned things around for them. But everyone is different, and both in the way you learn, but I think more importantly in what your goals are. So a lot of the time you will have people saying, right, this was the thing that really made the difference for me. This was so important. And that is something that aligns very, very closely with their goals, where they're looking to get to, and is a hugely useful step, whatever it is, on the way to get there. The problem comes if their goals are not your goals, and a lot of the time that will be the case, because you might have someone saying, this is what you need to do, and you think, yeah, great, I can see them, they're doing great things, I believe them, but it's moving them towards their goals and not yours. So that's one thing just to be aware of, I guess, related to this shiny object syndrome. It may not just be that these things look exciting and new. It may be that you've got someone saying, this is the most important thing for you to work on. And that might be the case, but filter it through, can I see how it gets me towards my goals rather than towards what they're working towards? So just to quickly summarize, those mindset traps you want to avoid are ego, boredom, fear of missing out, and shiny object syndrome. as you choose what to practice, as you decide when to move on to other things, all those things are going to rear their heads. They're going to come in there and they might try and distract you or take you down the wrong path. So just keep an eye out for them and bear it in mind when you're picking the things to work on. Now, once you've chosen the right things to work on, you want to make sure that you practice them regularly. So I definitely recommend checking out my video on how to practice every day next. And if you'd like the special practice and performance tips that I only share with subscribers, then head on over to playinthezone.com and sign up for the emails. They're free. I've been Morley-Fletcher. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.